Hey guys, welcome to the show. First of all, if you're new, please subscribe, comment, share. It's really greatly appreciated. So, in this episode, what we're going to talk about is what to look for in a helmet if you're trying to choose a climbing helmet for yourself. I've been asked recently about this by a couple of different friends. And while I am not an expert, I am an engineer, and it's kind of in my nature to make spreadsheets, do a bunch of research. You know the deal, right? Figure out all the different types and features and what works best, what's the best value for the dollar, etc. So last year, when I looked to upgrade my helmet, did a bunch of research, learned a little bit about the state of technology in climbing helmets, and my friends asked me to pass that along, so I figured I'd pass it along to you guys as well. Generally speaking, I am a huge supporter of helmets. I always climb with a helmet when I'm trad climbing. I almost always climb with a helmet when I'm sport climbing. I try to remember to always do it. I think that it's very important. Certainly as I've gotten older and more risk adverse, it's an important thing to do. So definitely climb with a helmet, and hopefully this information will help you in picking out the right helmet for you. Overall, there are kind of three categories of helmets in my opinion. Start with kind of the old school, low end, hard shell helmet. So the whole helmet in this case is going to be plastic ABS or some other plastic material. These are heavy. They don't ventilate very well. They're typically not very pretty, but they are cheap and they're super durable. So you see these a lot in use in guide services, primarily due to the cost and the durability, right? A helmet like this typically will run in the price range $25 to $50. You can beat these things up and they will last forever. Basic suspension system in this one, foam, but the whole helmet itself is ABS. Now this is an old Petzl Ekron Rock. They don't make this anymore, but I believe Petzl has a similar model. Camp makes one that's almost identical to this. I think Gravel makes a full hard shell helmet, and I think Edelred makes a few as well. So there are some out there if you want a full hard shell helmet. But downsides, like I said, are breathability and weight. They are super, super heavy. On the other end of the spectrum, you have your high-end foam helmets. So this is a Mammoth Wall Rider, similar to the Petzl Sirocco, very similar design. And there are several others as well. It is a full foam helmet. This particular one does have a small plastic shield on the top to protect from a direct impact from a rock, to just make it last longer. These are extremely lightweight and extremely breathable, very comfortable. They are the highest in cost in terms of helmets. But they are well worth it, and when you pay that money, you get something that's pretty stylish as well. So certainly makes it a little easier to wear, a little more comfortable. If you're looking good, you're feeling good, you're going to be climbing good, you're not going to be thinking about your helmet, right? Now, there are two types of foam out there, and this is very important because they behave very differently. You have EPP, which is expanded polypropylene, and EPS, which is expanded polystyrene. Now the EPS foam is the older style of foam that's out there. The way that it functions is on impact, it cracks to absorb the energy from that impact. Okay, so a big fall or hard hit, you get a crack and your helmet's done, you need to replace it. The EPP foam crushes on impact. Okay, so certainly still a big fall or a big impact may wipe your helmet out. You may need to replace it, but smaller impacts and smaller hits, hopefully, it can take a few of those. So it's a little bit more durable. Although in general, foam helmets need more care because they are more fragile and more susceptible to damage if you're just dangling it off your bag as you're hiking up, right? Or if you're just throwing it in the back of your car, you might want to be a little more careful with it than a hard shell helmet. The price range on these, depending on the model, tend to run list price between $120 to around $175. So Petzl Sirocco's in that price range, the Wall Riders in that price range, as well as others. In between the two is something that I am referring to as a hybrid helmet, right? So it is a full hard shell, okay, but has a foam liner in it. Now this is the Petzl Meteor, right? So it's still fairly lightweight, still pretty breathable, but you have that full protection. Now it's not as breathable or as lightweight as a full foam helmet, right? It's somewhere in between the hard shell and the foam, as you would imagine, right? So, and pricing is in between. These types of helmets will run you in the $50 to $100 price range. This is my wife's helmet, pretty stylish. She likes the pink, so it works for her. I am also a fan of the Petzl Boreo in this range of helmets. Now that has a full plastic shell with both EPP and EPS foam parts inside the structure of the helmet. So it's that hybrid design again, where it's taking and making use of the foam as the impact absorption part of the helmet, and the hard shell is really there for small rocks and durability. So another thing that you're going to want to look at, so we've mentioned breathability and weight. Those are really important characteristics. The third one that I think you want to look at is the suspension system. So this is important. If really, all three of these characteristics fit or determine how the helmet's going to fit and feel. Okay, so this helmet has a webbing suspension system that also has some plastic pieces here. Pretty easy to adjust. You just grab these knobs, slide it open, and it'll slide around and adjust. And you can adjust the webbing to bring the suspension down towards the back. Now, for me, this helmet is not the most comfortable helmet. A lot of people like it. It's super popular, but I feel that it rides pretty high up on my head, right? So even though ventilation is good, durability is good, the weight is okay, the fit for me is not that great. It serves my wife fantastically because she doesn't climb, she just belays, right? So it sits up there, gives her good protection, moderate cost, and is still very breathable. So it really fits for her needs. The Mammoth Wall Rider has a full webbing suspension system all the way around. For me, fits really, really well, but is a huge pain to adjust. So not really great if you're sharing the helmet with others. But once you get it adjusted to you, you have these quick release pieces in the back for snugging it down and loosening it to pop it off. So if it's just for you, this is a really great suspension system that you can really tweak and get that right fit, but not very good for adjusting on the fly for other people. Again, this is why you got to think about how you're going to use the helmet. Is it one helmet and two climbers sharing it? Is it just you, and you don't want anybody else sticking their sweaty head in your helmet? It's kind of my place on that. But try these helmets on. See how they fit, how they feel, how they look, right? Do you feel confident in it, right? Does it feel lightweight? You shouldn't be thinking about your helmet. Your helmet should be just there. And, if you've ever used a heavier helmet, as soon as you use a lighter weight, high-end helmet, you're going to know the difference immediately. Now, I will go ahead and talk about the suspension system of this helmet because it's actually a really nice suspension system that Petzl put into it all those years ago. Again, another reason why you see this style of helmet with guide services, because as these knobs on the side, which you actually just roll these wheels and it tightens up the headband, right? So you can very quickly adjust it from user to user. All right. All of these helmets will also have a kind of foam liner in them. Now, this is not the EPP or EPS foam. It's just a kind of comfort and size adjustment foam. In this one, it's around the band, and in the Meteor, it's actually up in here, right? So those pieces also play a part in the suspension and the fit and the comfort. So think about those three features or characteristics when you're picking out your helmet. And I really can't stress it enough that you should try as many helmets on as you can. Go to the store, gear shop, try on what they have, see what fits and feels good to you, and frankly, buy the best you can afford, right? Your helmet's an investment, and it's a small price to pay for comfort while you're climbing and protection while you're climbing, which is why I went with the Mammoth Wall Rider. Other good options, Black Diamond has a few. The Vector, I think, is their high-end model. Petzl Vision is a nice mid-tier model that is a hybrid. So those are good options. I mentioned the Petzl Boreo, big fan of that one as a low-cost option that also provides, kind of a good balance of weight and breathability. Petzl Sirocco and the Mammoth Wall Rider, in my opinion, are probably your top two helmet choices if you're looking for the best. Those are the ones to look at. So, hope that information's helpful. If you guys have any questions, comment below. I will be happy to answer them if I can. And please subscribe if you haven't yet. All right, talk to you guys next time. Thanks.